Okay, so advertising versus marketing, marketing versus advertising. The reality is that no matter what you do in your business, you're going to need different strategies. And in order to have different strategies, you've got to consider or know how to utilize them best in your business. And it's not one size fits all. Often after I've done a sales call with people, they'll say to me, can you send this to me? Or do you have a website landing page or something that you can show me? And I'm like, yeah, you can go to the website. But what I've just discussed with you on the phone right now is specific. I've specifically said how I can help you with your business, because on my website, it's going to be very general across the board to all industries. But when you have that one-on-one conversation, it's specific to the person that I'm talking to, which can make it difficult sometimes when you're quoting. But what you want to do is you want to make sure you want to understand how they all fit in so that you don't waste money and time or your effort that goes into it. At the end of the day, you have to get a return on investment, and a return on investment may be your time. So just like Jody said, she's got 100, over 100,000 people that have seen a reel of hers. That's all great. And I'm sure that it's going to increase her brand awareness, but we do need to translate that into paying customers, because then it becomes a ROI, return on investment. Your money, your time, your effort, those are all investments that we put into our business. So what are the common mistakes? I found this one quite interesting, and you would expect like little guys like us would sometimes have a better understanding than some big companies, because one of the biggest mistakes that big companies do is they split their, if they've got an advertising and marketing department, they'd actually split them into two sections, and they'd go, you are the advertising department, you are the marketing department, and they even split the sales department. Now, for those of you who've been working with me for a long time, you'd go like, that makes no sense, because marketing, advertising, sales, it all should be a comprehensive, inclusive sort of strategy. And the goal at the end of the day should be the same for both. And how this doesn't end up working is that there's a poor communication within their teams, but also poor communication to your audience. There's confusing messaging, because the advertisers are doing one thing and they're off on a tangent doing their one thing. And the marketers are doing their thing. And it basically weakens or confuses the strategy completely because of the incongruencies. So at the end of the day, regardless of whether or not you're advertising or you're marketing, you want to make sure that your goal or your intention is the same, even though they have their own places. So marketing is basically activities that engage customers into your business so that they buy. Okay. And you're basically ushering them through your sales funnels so that you can convert the audience into leads, your leads into customers, and your customers into repeat customers. And a lot of people forget about that last part, is that part of your marketing should be customer retention. Now, sometimes it could take minutes. So you literally could put a post out and minutes later you can get someone buying. Sometimes it can take days, meaning you're going to have to do a whole bunch of different things over a whole series of days in order to get a result. Sometimes it's weeks. And sometimes it's months. There's a guy that I'm talking to at the moment. He posted in a Facebook group in Varsity Lakes. A few people tagged and said he should speak to me. He spoke to a few other people, didn't like them, eventually came back to me. And I've been talking to him and his wife now for probably about 3 or 4 weeks. He still hasn't signed up. I'm fairly sure he will, but it's just timing. So you've still got to continue to nurture those relationships. You've still got to continue to email them, follow up, and make sure that you can get them across the line. So here are some of the most common marketing strategies to generate leads and clients. Now, often you'll see lead gen, and you see lead gen everywhere. And it was quite funny because I was talking to my business coach the one time, and I was like, I'm not really interested in lead gen's one thing, but what I'm really interested in is in client gen. And he's like, aren't client gen and lead gen the same thing? And I said, no, you can get a whole bunch of leads, but out of those leads, only some are going to become clients. You always lose people along the way. So it is important to consider client generation. Okay, so these are, I think I've got 13 here of the marketing most common strategies that you can use, and I'll explain a little bit about each of them. But before I do that, I want to explain that marketing has many facets. So if you think of an umbrella, and your umbrella is like this, and it's got all those different lines that are coming down, that is marketing. Advertising is one component of your marketing. Okay. So marketing common strategies to get leads and to get clients. Number one is email marketing. And I was talking to a bookkeeper this morning about it because it's really hard for her to understand that social media marketing on its own is not going to be as constructive as if she had an email marketing part to her business to be able to capture, nurture, engage those leads. Number two, social media marketing. And of course, we go out into social media, posting on various channels. Number three is content marketing. And this is things like when you write an article. I know Alison has written for a newspaper before, so that would be classed as content marketing. If you are a podcast or a podcast guest, those would be all things that would contribute towards content marketing. Number four is influencer marketing. So that is going and getting people to promote your products on your behalf. And I always recommend that you do have an agreement in place, even when it comes to influencer marketing, so you don't get taken advantage of. Number five is direct marketing. So that would be flyers, coupons, text messaging also goes into that. Your website, a brochure would all be direct marketing. Then there's SEO marketing. Now, there's actually two parts of SEO because there's paid and there's unpaid. So for example, if you have your website set up correctly and you are putting in keywords, searchable taglines into your website in the right field, so in your headers and in your subheaders, and if you have the alt text in there, and basically your web person has done all these things, put all the right words into the right place, and if you put it in a way that they are the words that your customer are using to search for you, that is free SEO, okay, which is considered part of your marketing. Number seven is referral marketing. And referral marketing is when you basically do, you refer people to each other. So you cross-refer, you have the same clients, but you don't offer the same product, okay? You have the same clients, but there's no competition. You don't offer the same product. So that is referral partnerships, and you would refer to each other. Loyalty and rewards programs as well. So offering incentives for loyalty rewards programs. Number nine is agile marketing. And this over here is going out and testing and surveying and getting feedback or beta testing. Actually testing the market is called agile marketing. Number 10 is affiliate marketing. So for example, Natasha Densham, she's gotten me to present tomorrow on social media. A percentage of a percentage of sales will go back to her because I'm in front of her crowd. So that is affiliate marketing. And people ask, do you mind paying that percentage? And I go, no, because I didn't have to do the work. I didn't actually go and I didn't have to get that audience of 40 to 60 people around the world. So I don't mind giving a commission for that. So that's affiliate marketing. And a lot of people do that. You'll often notice an email will come through and it says, oh, you may be interested in this course by this person. And that's affiliate marketing. They're doing that for their email list as well. Okay. So that you might agree, oh, I'll send out to your database, you send out to my database, and you'll share each other's services. Or, for example, oh, this person's got an event coming up, and you might be going, well, why are they telling me that? Because they're in a referral partnership, or they're getting an affiliate from it. So they'll actually be tracking who's clicking on those links. Then there's inbound marketing. So inbound marketing is about attracting people with your content. So it could be your blogs. Basically, it's any valuable content that you have, and it's about attracting them in. So the algorithm would play a big part in that one as well. That would be competitions, challenges, webinars. They are all things that you would create and draw people into your business. Number 12 is outbound marketing, and that's horrible things like cold calling. But it could also be sponsoring an event, presenting at an expo, getting onto TV, radio, networking groups, because you're putting yourself out in the marketplace, but those people may or may not be interested in what you have. They may or may not be interested. So that's outbound marketing. And then, of course, number 13 is your paid advertising. And your paid advertising are things like Google My Business. I mean, so many people don't realize that Google My Business, you can actually market on Google My Business without paying for ads. So many people have got no idea. They just think they've got to run ads. SEO, again, if you do things right, you don't have to pay for it. However, you can pay an SEO expert to put even more words behind your website and to update them on a regular basis. Social media, paid advertising, paid TV, paid radio, and paid AdWords. Paying to get into awards as well would be advertising. So for example, when I was nominated 20 business strategists, top 10 business strategists of the year, I was contacted to say that I'd made the list, but in order to go ahead with the award, did I want to pay? That's paid advertising. Okay, so at the end of the day, you have all these things, right? You've got this big umbrella, you got, and advertising is only a small part of it, and we want to make sure that we've got all the touch points with marketing. At the end of the day, though, it comes down to your strategy. What is your overall strategy? And it comes down to the 4 P's in marketing. And the first one is product, okay? And believe it or not, like if you go to Google My Business and it says, put out your product, a service is actually a product. And sometimes people can forget that. So you want to make sure that you've got a desirable offer, something that someone wants to buy. And when you put it out to the marketplace, you're focusing on the benefits, the advantages of it, and who it's actually for, and the advantages of that person or benefits of that person purchasing it. It's important that you get them to connect on both an emotional and psychological level. Super important. Number 2 is price. Okay. If the price is too high, you will price yourself out of the market unless you can effectively communicate the value of that. All right. But if you're too cheap, people will think that it's inferior and they won't value it. The best way to do it is research. You always hear me talk about market research. So testing the market, but also doing a competitors analysis. And when it comes to price, you want to look at things like doing an early bird. I love early birds. I do think that they do compel people to purchase sooner. So having an early bird offer is really good. Having an upfront discount, which could be anything from 10 to 30%. You could have coupons or even a payment plan. These are all things to consider with marketing and advertising strategies. So number 3, then it comes down to placement. And it comes down to which channels you're going to use, but it comes down to you and your audience. So for example, if everyone thinks Jodie's cute in a reel, and you know, Jodie she does great reels and she's super cute and she's out there and she loves to do it and it's so valuable. It's one thing to like cute content, but it's another thing to purchase. So you've got to look at how am I going to turn that into paid, into actual clients. And then number 4 is promotion. And that is looking at making the right person aware of your offer, the benefits of your offer, and then you have to convince them to buy it. And when you do that, it's got to be in the easiest and cheapest way to the business. So, you know, I often tell the story about a business coach who came to me and said, I've got a $10,000 offer that I have, and I don't want to do any calls or webinars. I just want somebody to look at my social media posts and pay the money on the website. And like, there's no way in hell. Tony Robbins doesn't even do that. Like, I think he's $1,500, and I still think they do there is a sales call. So you've got to look at how to streamline whatever promotions that you have or whatever offers that you have. You've got to look at how you can streamline them so that it's not too difficult on the business. So for example, I was getting about 20 inquiries per week through Facebook Messenger. It is a nightmare to track them and to keep following up on where they are and who's doing what. Now it's like, fill out this form. Once you fill out the form, you book a call. Once you've had the call, you're now my CRM. I can simplify that whole process. So it is important that when you're doing promotions that you have a simple process. It comes down to multiple touch points. Okay. So for Jodie, for example, right now, she's got this reel, she's done it. How's she going to touch those same people again? How's she going to engage them to take the next stop to inquire? And not only that, she wants the right people, because she works with people that are ex-service-based mums. So she needs to get those people in to do her program. And of course, you've got to get people to make contact with you. You've got to generate prospects. Some may be willing to buy right now. Some are willing to buy later. So what are you going to do? If they're not willing to buy right now, we've got to get them to subscribe. We've got to get them on the email list. If they are ready to buy right now, that's fine. We'll be able to take those, take payment or take that inquiry. So you've always got to have a yes, no at the end of your promotions. And then, of course, you need to track the effectiveness of it. So this often happens in a lot of funnels. People just go change everything. So they'll set up something and then say it's a webinar funnel, and then they'll want to optimize it. And what they'll do is they'll just scrap the whole thing and start again. It's better to just cut out one small section and change that and then test it and see whether or not that was the problem, because you might go change everything, but you might have had it 3/4 of the way right. So it's better for you just to break it up and track where the error is, where is the ineffectiveness coming from. So what will happen is your leads or your audience online, they'll appreciate your content. And of course, the algorithm will help bring you together. And when you have your marketing umbrella, you'll be out there going and having those multiple touch points. You'll put all the content out there. It'll generate curiosity, and it'll generate people, evoke curiosity in everyone. And then from there, they'll identify with your brand. When they identify with your brand and your brand message, that's when they'll like your page, or they'll reach out and go to your website or subscribe. That's then when they've got to see value in what it is that you're offering. And that's when they've either got to make a purchase, or it's the no funnel of they'll subscribe to find out more at a later stage. So then we get to advertising, okay? And advertising is more, they always talk about push and pull. So with advertising, it's about pushing. With marketing, it's about pulling. And I think that that's sometimes the best way to understand that. So with advertising, instead of attracting prospects organically by building relationships and touching them online, you create targeted, very targeted, specific thing to specific customers online. Okay. So for example, it would be paid advertising on TV, paid advertising on radio, paying to be in a newspaper, paying to be in a magazine, paying for social media advertising, display advertising, direct marketing. So things like Groupons, because you're paying for that opportunity, product placement, billboards and buses. Okay. So those are the 10 for that. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to the strategy. So for example, Alison writes for a local, what do you write? Tell us about it, Alison. You write for a local.
It's a lifestyle magazine. It's a Fraser Coast magazine. So it is free. So everybody writes in the magazine for free articles, and they have a theme every month. And I actually do the horoscopes, but I actually draw oracle cards for the different star signs.
Excellent. And how did you create that opportunity?
I was approached actually, and that was through a client. So yeah, she put my name to the lady who was the organizer of the magazine, and it just went from there. Awesome. And she said she wants someone to do horoscopes, and I'm going, I don't know a thing about horoscopes, but yeah, I'll do it.
Just say yes and figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, no, awesome. So, I mean, that's marketing, right? Because that's not paid. So that would be marketing. In the magazine, she's doing what's in alignment with her brand. People are going to build a know, like, and trust with Alison, and then reach out and want more card readings and things with her. So that's awesome. So yeah, so it's really important that the strategy is right. So I know that Daryl, you got the opportunity to be in a, what did Daryl was a camping show. So you could imagine, like, he's got Strikehold, right, which is like an anti-rust lubricant spray, which is great for camping things. But if somebody, I don't know, from the sex shop said to Daryl, hey, listen, can you come and, talk to us about your Strikehold lube that you've got that's anti-rust lubricant, there's going to be disconnect and there'll be no purpose for you for doing it. So you want to make sure that, whatever you do decide, that it is strategic, and that you can use it and repurpose that content with your business and brand. So there's three types of strategies that you can use. The one is a cognitive strategy, and this is about reasoning logically with your customers to help them recognize a solution. So for example, if you are trying to sell someone a healthy eating program, for example, you want to just identify with their unhealthy eating and you want to show them the alternative benefits of it. And what happens is the audience then feel respected, they feel understood, and also because they've got facts and figures around what it is. So you're appealing to the cognitive, the logical side of, well, if you want to eat healthy, you know, here's some statistics, here's some of the benefits of it, here, this is, so they make up the decision around it, okay? Number two is effective strategy, and this plays on the emotional side of it. And this is done through your messaging and through your visuals. And I like to call this one rub salt in the wound. So you want to appeal to their frustration or the depression that they might be going through, or the worries about not being able to eat healthy. And that's appealing to the emotional side of it. So you could even show, I think I used to show pictures of, like, especially when it was winter, I used to go the muffin top where like the gut used to hang out over the jeans and stuff. So that would be like an effective strategy is rubbing, you know, salt in the wound. And the next one is the conative strategy, which appeals to the impulses. So this is the fear of missing out. And unfortunately, sometimes people can do this because they don't understand their market enough. They're not really, they don't really understand their audience pain points, what benefits there are to their audience. So what they do is they straight away go to the conative strategy, which appeals to their impulses, which is the fear of missing out. So this is on sale, this is price to go, this is on clearance, this is your last chance to buy. And basically what you're wanting is a split decision from them. So you can use all three strategies in your business. But what I find is it's a big sign of a business that doesn't understand their audience when they leave out the other two and they go straight to this one where it's always just on price. It's always on price. So when it comes to ads, you've got to have a strategy and you've got to decide on your channels, obviously where your audience is hanging out. So the strategy's got to be aligned with the audience, the offer, and the channel. And you've got to have a product or an offer. You've got to know what you're actually selling. You've got to have copy that connects with your audience. And then you've got to have the creatives as well. And I'm sure Daryl will tell you that videos work really well when it comes to the creative. And they're really easy to do. If you go and have a look at Strikehold videos, they're just short little clips that he's put together. So they don't have to be fancy. Am I right, Daryl? What have you found?
Yeah, short and sweet, 15 seconds at the most, just a quick, that's your fix. It does this, does that. That's pretty much it. Smiley face. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Easy.
it doesn't, people overthink it when it comes to it. So obviously, you know that Daryl has advertising as a component within his business. When it comes to selling products like something like Strikehold, you do have to go down the advertising route. Like it would be too hard not to, because there's so many other products out there that you've got to compare to. But the marketing side 100% builds that relationship and gets the paid advertising side across the line. And this is why people jump to ads. They don't want to do the marketing side, and they don't realize that they'll get such a bad return on investment because they haven't done the marketing side to support it. And it happens every time. So many ad companies come to me and they say, please, can you work with this person? They don't know what product they're selling. They don't know who the audience is. They've got no language. They've got no visuals. They've got no idea. They're not doing anything organically at all. They've got 2 people on a Facebook page. Now they want to run an ad and they think that they're going to make money. It just doesn't work like that. So you've got to have a creative, and of course you've got to have a compelling call to action. So what is the next step? So, you know, marketing, ads, probably very much the same when it comes to that. But when it comes to advertising, for some reason, people think because they're paying, they don't have to do all those things. You still have to do all those things. They're trying to get out of all the stuff that they need to be doing. It's really important if you do paid ads that you need to be tracking clicks and making sure that you're getting a return on investment. Return on investment is your money, your time, and the effort that you put into it. And then you've got to tweak it and refine it along the way. So split testing and things like that will often help you as well to work out, you know, what's doing better. Daryl, if you've got any, I'm throwing Daryl in the deep end, if you've got any other tips or takeaways that you think might, or something that you could share with everyone just on the advertising side, because you know I don't do any ads, but on the advertising side, is there any other tips that, or what you found works really well?
I guess all businesses are different, but we're product based, so both businesses are very similar with the lighting and the strikehold. But we just find that snippets of education, little golden nuggets of what this does to fix your problem, that for us is the golden nugget for them. They get that and they go, oh wow, I can do that. So like this morning, I found a lady who's Outdoor Elegance. They're a furniture company. Now, who'd have thought they'd ever use strikehold? But they buy it like in half a pallet load when they buy it, because they spray all their furniture because people live on the coast. So that was initially done from a little bit of marketing with me. Had somebody sat out by the coast and with a bottle of strikehold and just said, wow, this would stop this from rusting. And I just had an arrow going, no rust. And then there was a table next to it with rust. And that resulted in them calling me. And then they spent about, I think their first order was about three grand worth of stock. So that was a snippet of education that led to a phone call. And I actually found her this morning. It was 12 months ago. So I've just done my follow-up, and now they're looking at moving into different areas. So she's going, now, can we do an education on what the product does? Because we're only selling it as a table and a rust converter. And I'm going, no, look, we need to do like a webinar or something, because it's going to spend, but get your customers on and I'll educate them. That's sort of where. So for us, it's just tiny little snippets of education about what our products do. Same with the pool lighting, little snippet before and after, and that does it for us. So we cross the advertising with the marketing all the time, and then come to a happy medium in the middle, and that usually for us results in quite good sales.
Yeah, excellent. And you can hear how heavily focused it is on building relationships with people, because again, a big mistake when it comes to advertising is people think that if they do ads, people are going to see it, they're going to buy it, and that's it. See, buy, and that's it. Just rinse and repeat. They think that they can just take a human out of the whole thing, and that's not how it is at all. Yeah. So thanks for that. So some of the things between marketing and marketing versus advertising. So marketing costs less, and advertising costs more. It just does. It just does. I did say earlier, I don't do any paid advertising. At the moment, I do have someone now doing paid SEO on my website. Have I noticed anything? I don't know. Apparently, I've got increased traffic to my website. Has that helped me make more sales? No, I'd say I'm paying for it, but no. So that's one of the things I'm doing. I have paid for awards before. So if an award like that top 10 business strategists, I think it was $300. I was one of the people that they chose, but the people who paid got through. So it was $300 for that. So I did pay for that. What other paid advertising? Expos. I do pay for expos, to go to expos. I pay for networking. So that would be paid advertising. What else would I do that's paid advertising? I was trying to give you guys a list, because the other day I was like, oh, I don't think I've paid. I haven't paid for TV. I haven't paid for radio. I haven't paid for magazines and summits. Yeah, so that's okay. So yeah, that's what I do pay for. So now, I do pay for stuff. Okay, so marketing versus ads. Marketing costs less, advertising costs more. Marketing is all about attracting people organically. Advertising is about targeting people more broadly. Marketing is more personal. It's more relationship based. And advertising is more about targeting demographics. So it's less personal and more sort of based on categories. Marketing is mostly done by the business or the business owner, and advertising is usually done by you often using other software, other media, or even outsourcing or using other platforms. Marketing has a longer buying cycle because it's more relationship based, so it can take a bit longer. I've had people come back to me after 5 years and then sign up. Advertising It says here a shorter buying cycle, but I know that I've tested advertising out a few times on service-based businesses, and it takes about 3 months of paying. So I've paid about $5,000 over 3 months and still not got one sale. So they say that it's a shorter buying cycle for ads. I think for product-based, I can see the value in someone like Daryl using it, but for people who are selling services, I find it a little bit more, it can be a longer game. When it comes to KPIs and marketing, you're looking at, it's all about build brand awareness, better relationships with people, developing that know, like, and trust. It's about getting shares and engagement and more traffic to the website. But when it comes to advertising, it literally is, do you like this, buy this? And it comes down to it just comes down to sales and conversions. Marketing is designed to get and keep customers. Advertising is designed just to get customers. Marketing is two-way communication, so they'll be back and forth. Sharon's on the call here now. I think Sharon, Ebony, they're recent clients that have just signed up, and we've gone backwards and forwards in Facebook Messenger a few times. Paid advertising is about, if you want to work with me, pay and work with me. And I would have lost the opportunity to have this backwards and forwards before they actually signed up. So you have to be prepared for the two-way communication. And marketing is about consistently creating new content, but your messaging will stay the same. Advertising is you're repeating the same content. So you'll often find that they'll want you to see the same content again and again and again and again, so that eventually you get a yes. Whereas marketing is about continually getting their know, like, and trust, and showing your value and expertise by, by the content bucket that we all work on. So, success stories, testimonials, your about story. There's all those facets that you can nurture people with in marketing as opposed to advertising.